kuingia late.
142 billion shillings, enough money to subsidize the cost of fuel for the next 5 years and feed millions of Kenyans faced with starvation. The possibilities are endless as to what can be achieved with the funds, which amount to just over 14% of the trillion shilling budget in 2010-2011 financial year. It is the amount of money allocated to various government ministries and agencies that has remained unutilized for the last 1 year. The over 61 ministries and government agencies had been allocated over 645 billion shillings, 437 billion shillings for recurrent expenditure and 208 billion shillings for development expenditure. Treasury had set out to ensure the funds were well spent to spur economic growth by putting in place measures to ensure that the funds were actually absorbed.
All accounting officers will be required to develop action plans for all their projects, indicating specific timelines and benchmarks consistent with full disbursement.
However, only 358 billion shillings allocated for recurrent expenditure was absorbed, while only 145 billion shillings of the funds allocated to development expenditure was absorbed. This in effect means that over 18% of recurrent expenditure was unspent, while about 30% of development expenditure remained unutilized. Yet the development projects for which the money was earmarked hold the greatest potential for creating jobs, ensuring sustainable development and combating widespread poverty.
The Treasury itself usually starts releasing what they call exchequer releases, releasing funds to the ministries in respect of development budget from around December. Almost half of the year is gone, and it becomes very difficult for the ministries for the remaining period for them to start planning.
Key ministries that failed to fully absorb the allocated funds include the Ministry of Education, 23.5 billion shillings, the Ministry of Provincial Administration, 11.3 billion shillings, the Department of Defense with 10.7 billion shillings, the Ministry of Higher Education, 8 billion shillings, the Ministry of Roads, 7.8 billion shillings, and the Ministry of Agriculture with 6 billion shillings that will be returned to Treasury. Of key concern, however, is the government's expansive borrowing program, where it sought to raise over 105 billion shillings, well under the amount of funds. Worse still is the fact that the government's current deficit projection stands at 160 billion shillings. Ahead of the next budget, it will therefore be interesting to watch the new measures that will be put in place to ensure the government improves on its poor absorption capacity for budgeted funds. Henry Githaiga, Citizen Live at 9.